Normally, I'm a Royal Caribbean girly, but we sailed Carnival Celebration, and I'm going to give you the full ship tour. Let's go. Hi, my name is Tamara Hancock, and this is the part where I introduce myself so that you know what you're getting into. I'm a high school English teacher, but I am also a travel and cruise enthusiast. I have a husband and four children, and I love Disney. Yes, I am a Disney adult. On this channel, we learn about things because I am a teacher, so I teach things. So we learn by doing, by experiencing, and then by sharing it with everyone else. Today, we're exploring Carnival Cruise Line's Carnival Celebration, one of their biggest and newest ships. As at the time of this recording of this video, Carnival Celebration's home port is the beautiful port of Miami, Florida, which I have sailed from before. She entered service in 2022, making her one of Carnival's newest and largest ships. At just a little over 5,000 passenger capacity and 1,700 crew capacity, it really is a sight to behold. She has 19 decks, a roller coaster, several big eateries, and an indoor multi floor theater. One thing we always try to do on our cruises is sail in a balcony cabin. My husband was fearful of being seasick, and I just like sitting on the deck and watching the waves and reading a book. So we always try to book balcony whenever possible. This ship, this is the first time we decided to choose a forward facing balcony cabin. And I have to be honest with you, I don't know if that's something that I would do again. I love to be able to, like I said, sit on the deck, watch the waves go by, read a book while my husband does pool volleyball or whatever activity he's doing. So on Carnival Celebration, I could do that. However, because it was a forward facing cabin, there was a big metal railway in front of me. I couldn't see the ocean. And then when we were underway, we were at about 20 knots to 22 knots. That's a lot of wind that blows in if I tried to stand at the deck and watch out. Another thing worth noting if you're going to book a cabin like this is the crew area was right below, and that was where their designated smoking area was. The smoke would often blow up into our balcony. So if that is something you are sensitive to, maybe don't book this kind of room. Now, with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and do a cabin tour of our forward facing balcony room, room 12201 on Carnival's Celebration of the Sea. So, one thing Carnival did a really good job with was the cabin space, places to put our luggage and different things. When you walk in directly to the right, you're going to have these cabinets, and to the left was the bathroom. So in the bathroom, just a standard cruise ship bathroom, but it was pretty good. There were two racks there that were good for storing different toiletry items or whatever. And then to the right, it was actually a fairly big shower. Most cruise ship cabins I've been in, the shower has only been a little corner, and this one was full sized. So that was really nice to have. And just like with any cruise cabin, you're going to have narrow walkways between the door and the cabinets. Now, one thing I had problems with was this light switch. If I balanced it just right, the light would turn completely off and we would have no light from the emergency light. There was supposed to be a switch to the left in the ballast, but I could never find it. There were two closet spaces here that I used as his and her closet spaces for myself and my husband. He has a lot of athletic clothing, so it was, to keep the smell from his clothes from invading mine. But there we go. There's shelving, there's places to hang things, and then there is, of course, an in closet safe where you set the code and you're able to store your belongings there. These pull-out drawers were really nice. Things didn't rattle around while we were underway or when the ship was rocking, which we were sailing during hurricane season. So it was, potentially a problem. Now I'm going to show you the magnetic hooks I bring. Carnival does have these three hooks by the door, but I always bring magnetic hooks for hanging things like my hats and my sign and sail card, but also this door organizer that I bring with me every time. Some people are going to tell you you don't need this, and you're right, you don't. I just like it to keep things organized and to keep things from falling off the countertops when we're underway. We were sailing during hurricane season. It happens. Celebration also had these really nice reading lights by the bed that allowed you to read at night or to have just a little extra light in the room if you wanted it, and they turned off when you closed them. But they also had USB ports in them, which was extremely helpful. On other ships and other sailings, my USB ports have been away from the bed at the desktop, and it just made it hard to plug in my phone or anything else. Say hello to my little towel guy. Okay, so we're going to kind of squish between the bed and the TV here. I'm just going to show you on the other side. Again, we had another light, another USB port, and then there is a little bedside table down below that you can put your phone and things on underneath the bed. Of course, storage for your luggage. That was a very small walkway between the edge of the bed and the wall, just so you know. This is a pull-out bed. There's a trundle bed that can pull out, so this cabin can actually sleep 3 or 4 people. If you have more than one person traveling, which we did, it's nice to have this dressing area so that somebody else can get ready. There was also this cube in the room, which was really nice for storage. I kept my husband's backpack in there and some other things. It's not this difficult to close. I am me. This is a me problem, not a Carnival problem. And then they give you more drawers for storage, which is really nice. And the cool thing about these drawers on cruise ships is they have the easy close feature. So you pull it, and if you close it, it just slowly closes on its own. So you have no slamming drawers or things popping open when you're underway. And of course, you have a standard cruise ship cooler. Now, these are not meant to be refrigerators, they are coolers. So if you ask for some ice, it can keep it a little colder. It worked just fine for our need. And then again, a few more shelves, and then I had more magnetic hooks hanging here for our neck fans because they were close to the chargers. It made it a lot easier for us to store them. One more reading light here. This one did not have a USB port in it, but that was okay. And then let me take you out on the balcony because I've already talked to you a little bit about the balcony and some of the difficulty I had with this type of balcony. You'll see that big metal railing there that kept you from seeing the view, but it is a deeper balcony, which is really and because
Nice.
it's forward facing, you do have this windbreak screen so that you can open and close that door whenever you need to or at will. And you see this beautiful view that you have when we're underway, which almost made the cabin worth it, but I did miss being able to sit and see that view. To see it, you had to get up to the front. So again, this is a very large balcony for a balcony room. A lot of times we don't have these big long chaise loungers. Usually it's two chairs and a table, and that is all you get on the balcony. So this larger balcony is quite nice and only something you're going to find on like a forward facing type berth. The configuration for our cabin was door, bed, couch. In other cabins I've sailed in, it has been door, couch, bed, and that has made the room feel just a little bit bigger and more spacious to me. But, whatever. I'm on a cruise ship. I don't care. I think another really big positive benefit of sailing in a forward facing cabin like this is it was very quiet. We were the farthest away that you could be from any elevator or stairwell. And so, if anybody was really going to be in that hallway, it was because they were in one of those forward facing cabins. You didn't get a lot of nighttime run through noise. So, that's another benefit if that's something you're looking for. So, now this tour is going to take us up on deck so that we can explore some of the public areas that are available. Just like every other cruise line I have been on, Carnival does have these nicely appointed, quiet, adults only areas. On Celebration, these were mostly forward and on deck 18, I believe. And they had these day beds that you could actually use for free. You did not have to rent them. I do know that on Royal Caribbean, they have day beds, and those are usually for an extra charge or a reservation. And additionally, in the adult area, you have the adult pool, but then there was also this salad bar that was a salad fresh that you could go at any point during the day when it was open, obviously, and get some lunch, and you could sit and eat. We really enjoyed doing that. We had the salad bar a few times because maybe the buffet was busy or any of the other places just didn't sound good. And sometimes when you're on cruise ships and you're eating so much, you want to just have something light and easy for the day. And if you look up above there, we actually sat up there during one night where there was a movie night and watched a movie with our friends. Adult only areas are really nice on any cruise ship, and Carnival was no exception. But it's just kind of a quick reminder that on some ships, adults only means 16 and up, and on some ships, it means 18 and up. So just check in with your particular sailing and see what that means to you if that is important to you to be able to have a true adults only 21 plus area. You see to the left there, there's a place for towels to get towels for this specialty area. Or if you go to the right, there is a hot tub and a little shower to the right there for you to clean up. This hot tub is one of two that are located in exactly the same spots, mirrored on each side. Now, one thing you're going to see is the stark contrast between this adult area here. And I'm going to turn to the left, and we are going to go up these stairs and enter into the more public or family area of the ship. Now, here you're going to find a lot more deck chairs. It's going to be a little bit more crowded during the day, but this was taken about 6 a.m. So obviously, nobody was really out and about. One of the things you are not allowed to do is go out early and reserve deck chairs. On our sailing, we didn't see a lot of that, but just know that you are not allowed to do that. They will take your belongings, they will store them at the towel stand, and you can go find them later. But deck camping or chair camping is also not just rude, it's not allowed. And the big movie screen you see right there is where they played outdoor movies. We were able to sit in some of these deck chairs here or even up a deck and watch movies at night. It was a lot of fun. I don't remember which movies they played on our sailing, but it's usually something that is fairly new, fairly recent. Just a quick note, if you are going to watch one of the outdoor movies, please bring a blanket or a shawl or something, even though this is the Caribbean and it is fairly warm outside, you are traveling 22 knots through the water while they're showing these movies, and the wind and the breeze tend to cool things off quite a bit. I remember I was huddled up next to my husband, and all we had was a towel because we didn't even think about it. And our Arizona skin was just not ready for cold nights on the Caribbean. Back out to the pool deck again. This is just another one of the public pools. This is a family pool. Over there, you're going to see a bar where you can utilize your drink package or just purchase them individually if that's what you would like to do. And lots of seating. Again, don't go out and put your towels down at 6 o'clock in the morning and try to save seats. It is rude. It is not allowed. I'm going to keep hitting this because I just don't understand why. And you'll see right there, if you are interested or in need of accessibility features, they do have that in this main pool to allow those that are wheelchair users or mobility users to be able to access the pool and the hot. On the family deck or the open public deck, there are multiple places for seating. You're never going to want for seating, but if you want one of those places in the shade, you're going to have to try to get there early and make sure that you are able to stay with your seating. There are also a few of these day beds that are available. Again, these are not charged. It's just first come, first serve. One conversation I have a lot with people who haven't cruised very often is about the size of the swimming pools. Yes, they are small. You're not going to find an Olympic sized pool on a cruise ship. They are big enough to host activities such as water volleyball or water basketball. There's usually a belly flop competition or something happening. But again, don't expect a huge Olympic sized pool or even a recreation sized pool on a ship. They just cannot accommodate those types of things. There are multiple ship pools and there's multiple places to go to cool off during the day. I'm going to show you some water slides here in a minute. But again, yes, the pools are fairly small, but that is also standard and a limitation of the engineering of the ship. All right, then, if the pools are small and you're stuck on this ship in the middle of the ocean, then what else is there to do? Well, Carnival Celebration has got so many things that you can do if you're looking for something outside of swimming. So, right to the right here, you're going to see the sports court. I love that it's covered with netting, so you don't need to necessarily worry about the balls going overboard. There is also a ping pong table there. This is the running track. You'll see it ran the entire length and width of the ship all around this entire deck. There's foosball tables. So if you want to get any of the sports equipment to play on any of these, then you just ask one of the crew members in the activities office that is going to be right here close by. I will admit that my husband and I, when we are booking ships, we book ships, not itineraries. We love all the itineraries, and of course, a lot of people will tell you book the itinerary because you want to go to the places you want to go to. But there's a couple of things that are very important to my husband and to me, obviously. But number one that's important to my husband would be the sports court if it's available, and number two, the running track. Many ships have a running track, but it's about 8 or 9 to 10 laps to get a mile in, which they're very small, they're very crowded. Other ships have running tracks where it's maybe just 2 times around the ship to get a mile or 3 times because it goes the entire circumference of the ship. The running track on Celebration was awesome. It was big. It only required, I think, 3 times around to get into a mile. The only problem was it was in this very, very public space and it was only one lane. So you had to get up very, very early or run very, very late in order to be able to do it without interference. Carnival Celebration also had a whole bunch of other activities, including a ropes course and, yes, a roller coaster. On our sailing, we had a couple of big, long sea days, and so we spent a lot of that time on the ropes course becoming masters of the course. Now, safety first, absolutely. So make sure that if you are traveling with people who are smaller, that they are able to measure up. There is a height requirement for the ropes course just so that you can fit safely in the harnesses. And now that brings us to the other side of the sports court. We're still on the athletic deck. We're on deck 18, and you can still see the running track here. And off to the right, you have beautiful ocean views and everything that you could ever want in a cruise ship, honestly. But if you keep walking this way towards the back or aft of the ship, there are going to be some little hidden seating areas that I noticed weren't super busy during the day. I don't know if people really knew they were here. I guess they do now, but these little alcoved seating areas were available during the day for people who, if they wanted to look up and watch people on the ropes course or the roller coaster, which we're going to be here to in a minute, or if they just wanted to read a book and watch the ocean waves go by, which is basically my favorite activity on literally any cruise ship. And once we go back here, this is where you're going to find the water slides and the water playground. Yes, the water slides are available for adults. Yes, I rode every single one of the water slides. They are not fast, they are not super scary. A couple of them, I actually got caught in one of them because it wasn't moving super fast. But I think that, again, that was a me problem, not a carnival problem. Just trust me on this one. And there were extra seating areas here. There's a splash pad. All of this area is available for everyone, so families and children alike. This is going to have a lot of kids in this area. There are going to be a lot of splashing and a lot of noise. So, again, if you're one of those people that's cruising and doesn't like that, first of all, why are you on a carnival ship? Secondly, just know that this is going to be an area where that is going to be happening. At the very aft of the ship, there's an entire mini golf course at sea, which is a lot of fun. Of course, you can mini golf at any time during the day, but they also had a hole in one golf tournament, which my husband actually won on our sailing. Not expected, but he won, and that was kind of cool. Now, while we're still on the sports and activities deck, let's go over and check out Bolt, which is the single rail roller coaster double rider that is on Carnival Celebration. Before you ride Bolt, you can come over here and put yourself in a test car to see if you're comfortable with the way that it fits. And then also, yes, you do have to have your height and your weight checked to make sure that you are safe to ride.
I do think I just barely made the
You
cut.
do have to reserve your time. There is an additional charge, and weather may interrupt your experience. If you like roller coasters, I highly recommend it. As you'll see, my husband does not like roller coasters. Just downstairs from the miniature golf course, we are at the aft of the ship still, and there is another bar right here. And then to our left is the ice cream machine, which, if you didn't know, on every cruise ship, there seems to be a soft serve ice cream station. Cool thing about Carnival is they had different flavors. They had strawberry, they had mango. Every day there was a different flavor of ice cream being served in the soft serve stations. And that was very important to us because, just kidding, it wasn't important to us. Like, it wouldn't make us determine this ship over another ship, but it was a really cool feature. This is an aft pool. So it was kind of a wake view pool, kind of fun, be able to sit at the back and watch the wakes from behind. And then this big open area up here is another hot tub, which you would need to take stairs to get up into. One thing I will say Carnival does really, really well is their food. They have so many complimentary dining options available on board. And at least on Celebration, there was Shaq's Big Chicken, there was Guy Fieri's Burger Joint, there was a pizza place, which I think is available on almost every cruise line, right? There's the soft serve ice cream. They also had multiple special dining restaurants, but what was cool about some of their specialty dining restaurants is one of them, which was called Shebang, it had one free complimentary time that you could go to Shebang, but then after that, you could pay to go. And so you got to actually try their specialty dining options by reservation without actually paying the specialty dining fee. And all of that was included as part of your fare. So, with that being said, let's go and explore some of the dining options that we were able to visit on Carnival Celebration. So, yes, I mentioned Shaq's Big Chicken, and Shaq's Big Chicken was open for breakfast, lunch, and I think a late lunch or like a dinner. Breakfast, they had eggs and sausage and just typical breakfast fare. But for lunch and dinner, they had chicken sandwiches, chicken strips, chicken. Well, it's a chicken place, so it's pretty much a lot of chicken. And this area here would change out whether it was breakfast or lunch. So you would have a yogurt bar for breakfast and different things, but during lunch, you would have different sauces and toppings for the chicken strips and the chicken sandwiches. And now, again, this is on the aft of the ship. And if you go through these doors right here, this is going to put you right into the buffet. These doors were supposed to be no touch, but for some reason, again, this is a me problem. So to the left is where you would wash your hands. And then directly ahead is going to be the buffet area. Again, when I did this walkthrough, it was about 6 a.m. So there's really not a lot out in the buffet. There was breakfast foods and whatever, but during lunch, there was literally anything that you could want. There was hamburgers, there was pasta, there were fish dishes, there were vegetarian dishes. I saw a lot of gluten-free options. So the buffet is a really good option for you if you want to have choice in any of those types of dining. They also had a gelato bar, which was it was excellent. The buffet is located at the aft of the ship, right where I told you where Shaq's Big Chicken was. There was tons of seating available that was usually open. They had these high table seating options, and then, of course, these group table seating options to the other side. The buffet is an exact mirror on both sides, so it doesn't matter which side of the ship you come in, you're going to see the same thing on either side. This is, again, where you're going to find your complimentary water, coffee, tea, beverages. If you have a soda package, Then you'll scan your sign and sale card here and then put your drink underneath, and it will stay open for a certain amount of time so that you can fill your cup with soda. Otherwise, the juices, the coffee, the tea, those are all complimentary for you during your sailing. And we're just going to take a really quick look at what you can find. Again, this was 6 a.m., so a lot of this was closed, but you'll see some hot breakfast options. There were different kinds of toasts, pancakes, eggs, omelets, hash browns. Uh, Fruit, anything that you could really want for a breakfast, you would find in the buffet. Their main dining room was also open for breakfast if you wanted to choose that route where you would order breakfast and it would be delivered to you with your waiters and whatever else, and that again is also complimentary. And here I'm just showing you that again, it's just a mirrored version of the other side. Here's your coffee, your tea, your complimentary juices, and then of course the soda fountain machine was there as well. Guy Fieri's Burger Joint was also available, and it was a favorite of those of us traveling together. It's the men in our group. It was a favorite of the men in our group. And you would go and you would get your burger cooked the way you wanted it, whether you had onion rings or whatever on it. And then all of your toppings and sauces and things that you would want for your burger would be here in this area. And now, if you keep going straight and to the right is where you're going to find another drink station for water, complimentary water and juice, coffee, tea, that kind of stuff is going to be found right here. And your cups and everything will be right there. But then also, that's right, another soft serve ice cream station. This ship had two that I'm aware of. So the one, no, three, excuse me. I had three. So that had the one on the aft, the one right here by Guy's Burger Joint, and then there's going to be one downstairs in another one of the complimentary eating areas. And I actually thought it was really great that Carnival Celebration had three because on my last royal sailing, there was only one and it was not open all the time. Now, granted, it was Alaska, but still. So again, here's the Red Frog bar that you can access drinks and beverages. This is the upper level of the one that we saw next to the swimming pool. You go down those stairs, then you get to the pool. And this is just another drink place that you can use. So in addition to everything that I've already shown you, there are also other eating areas that are available that are close to the pool area. We're going to go look at those now, but I don't know that we were able really to visit them for most times. They were only open during lunch. Their hours were a little bit scattered on our personal sailing. But they did have some really good options if you could catch them when they were open. So this is what Carnival calls street eats, and it's kind of like a taco truck or a food truck kind of vibe. You have all of this place to sit down, and you can kind of see to the right there, that is the pool. Awesome ocean views as you're sailing. But we had Sizzle, which had different types of food in there, and then there was a inspired place. This one was fries, where they had different types of fries and wings. And then there was also a seafood place. Sorry. And then if you kept going to the other side, you would see other types of food available as well. Again, their menu was pretty specific to each type of location. And again, it was like kind of a food truck type of vibe. Because of all of the free and complimentary dining options, we just did not have enough stomach space to try all of them. But everything we did try was really good. We did have some dumplings from the Asian inspired place that were pretty, really good. So this is the Blue Iguana Cantina. They had tacos, they had enchiladas, they had fajitas. This is going to be like your Mexican food place. They had bowls, that kind of thing. I did eat here a couple of times. They were very, very good. And then again, another water and juice station on this side. It's mirrored on the other side as well. So all of that is included. These are all complimentary places to eat. But really, this is something that Carnival does very, very well. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I'm mostly a Royal Caribbean girly. And one thing that Carnival has way outdone on any royal ship I've ever been on are the free and complimentary food options that give you just so much choice. So we've looked at all of these different places. There is one more place we're going to go look at, and that is the Pig and Anchor, where again, they have a breakfast in the morning and then they have a different type of buffet set up at night. And there's an ice cream station. So let's go check that out. So the Pig and Anchor is actually two different locations on this ship. One is the actual smokehouse, which is an additional cost. And then the other is the barbecue and buffet, which is included. So at the barbecue and buffet in the mornings, they do have breakfast. Again, the same types of offerings that you would find upstairs, which would be the yogurt, which would be the granola, the breakfast, the cereals, that kind of stuff. There is a drink and juice bar that's available. But then there's also in the afternoons and in the evenings, you're going to find a buffet of different smoked meats, barbecues, chickens, that kind of things that you're going to be able to get from the Pig and Anchor barbecue, again, included in the cost of your cruise. If you wanted to go to the smokehouse, you could. Again, that would be additional. So in this area, there's a lot of seating. There's a lot of places to just kind of gather around. We played cards in this area, which was kind of fun. And again, there is that third ice cream station that I told you about earlier. And during our sailing, the NHL playoffs were going on, and this was a really great place for people to watch those games. And it was usually a pretty lively place to be. And on Carnival Celebration, the Pig and Anchor also houses their veterans tribute or their memorial to the different veterans who have served in different foreign wars. I'm not really sure how we didn't get video of the main dining rooms, but Carnival does have two main dining rooms that are included as part of your fare. The two main dining rooms are called the Carnival and the Festival. And on your set sail, your sign and sail card, excuse me, there will be which one is the location that you are assigned to. And then when you go in, you'll be able to find your table, your waiters. As long as you choose a dining time, so or the early dining or the late dining, you will have the same waiters and the same table throughout your entire sailing. The menus are usually posted way ahead of your sailing as well, so that you can go ahead and see what they're going to serve. The cool thing about main dining is you can actually choose more than one option, and a lot of people don't know this, but if you see several of the appetizers that you want, you can try more than one, and your waiter will bring you out more than one, or the main dishes or the dessert. I think they do limit you to two main dishes per dinner or per seating. What we did in our group is all of us basically just ordered two of everything, and then we just shared so everybody could get a taste. But there were 10 of us, so it kind of worked out really well. But main dining is a really good option. We do like to choose a dining time that is set so that we have the same waiters, the same time, and we know every day from day to day what time our dinner is going to be, and then we can plan the rest of our events. On this deck is where you're going to find a lot of the things like the Carnival Fun Store, where you can buy different Carnival merch from some of your ports. You're also going to find guest services. Guest services is like your hotel concierge desk. This is where you're going to go if you have questions, need help with your sign and sail card. If you're going to need help with something in your room, guest services is going to be the place where you go. Just outside of guest services, and after looking at the incredible artwork in the ceiling, to the right, you're going to find this is going to be shore excursions. You can come here to book or change or do anything with your short excursions that you have on board or that you need to reschedule because of weather or whatever it is. And then after that, there's going to be a staircase down into more shopping areas. There's some more dining areas down there, and that's actually where you're going to find the main dining rooms. You'll also going to find more of your complimentary food options. Again, remember when I told you they have some amazing complimentary options available to you on Carnival. So that was one of the complimentary food options. They had deli sandwiches and things like that. And then here's where you're going to find the pizza. Now, I don't know if this is a pro tip or not, but in our group, the guys figured out if you came and got two slices of pizza and then went up to Guy's Burger Joint and got a burger protein style, you could make what's called a pizza burger. I never tried one myself, but they swore that it was delicious. Now, further down the hallway on deck 8, you're going to find Chibang, which is a Chinese and Mexican fusion. This is a specialty restaurant, but you can dine one time included. At least we could on our sailing. If you dined a second time, then it would be an additional charge. So if you're keeping track at home, we are on deck 8. Now, if I turn to the left here and go down that hallway, it's going to take you to one of the specialty dining restaurants that is available on board. This one is called Cucina del Capitano. It apparently was very good. Again, we are not specialty dining people really, so we did not try it, but I have heard nothing but excellent reviews. To the right here is going to be the photo gallery if you have the photo package, or if you want to go just buy one or two photos, get a photo book, or have any prints of any of the photos that they've taken of you throughout the ship. This is where you're going to go ahead and get that. Also, if you wanted to order an onboard photo session with your family, you could go to the photo gallery and get that set up with them. You just set up an appointment, and then you will pay for it with them there at that location on your sign and sale card. Decade also has other shopping options. This is where you're going to find your onboard jewelry store and a couple of knickknack type shops. And then Decade upwards and towards the left, forward, not left, to the port side, and forward, you are going to find that's where Chibang will be. Carnival Celebration also has several different places on board where there's different events or shows happening. This is Celebration Central. There were several shows that were happening here. If you check your app, it will give you the dates and the show times and what is happening in this location. When we were there, I remember watching a really cool one that had different things with colors and light, a little bit of acrobatic. There was a violinist, which was incredible. Decade is also where you're going to find the entrance to the Havana Bar, which is where there were several different things happening during our sailing. We actually played trivia here a couple of nights, and I still stand on the fact that we got 100% correct on the Harry Potter trivia. One of the questions was which one is older, Harry, Hermione, and Ron? And the answer is Hermione, but they said Ron, and I still stand on that one. The Havana Bar is open to all guests. However, if you are wanting to go past this point, then you had to have booked a Havana cabin, which we did not have, so I apologize. I cannot show you that area. But the Havana cabins are a specialty area that Carnival Celebration offers for an upgraded type experience in your stay. You're going to find the casino on this floor as well. And the casino, actually, I was very impressed. On other ships that I have been on, you could smell cigarette smoke coming out of the casino at any given time. On the Carnival ships, we just did not have that. Carnival Celebration also has the Grand Spectrum Theater, where they have several Broadway style performances. The show we saw was a jukebox musical that had to do with color. Every song had woven color into it. It was really incredible. And again, you can find the dates and times of all of these different performances in your Carnival Fun. Now, in cruise ships, one last thing I'd like to point out is every floor tends to look like every other floor. And so if you're not really sure where you're at, or if you are kind of confused on how to find your way back to somewhere, whether you're forward, whether you're aft, port, or starboard, every single floor is going to have one of these wayfinders on them so that you can look at it and say, okay, where am I at? Where do I need to be? And how do I get to my next location? Something that I've done on all of my sailings is look at the artwork and use that as a point of reference. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I am more of a Royal Caribbean girly, but I will say that after our experience on Carnival Celebration, I am pleasantly surprised. I had heard a lot of different people say that because we are so tied into Royal Caribbean that we may not enjoy Carnival, and I did not see that at all. That couldn't be further from the case. If you would like to see a comparison between Carnival Celebration and maybe Royal Caribbean's Harmony of the Seas, they are similarly classed and they are similarly sized. Please let me know, and that's a video I can definitely do. And if you are somebody who prefers Carnival over Royal, let me know in the comments. Which cruise line do you prefer? Carnival, Royal, Norwegian Princess? Right? Who do you like to sail? Let me know in the comments and let me know why. And then, as always, if you would like to see other videos like this, please like, comment, subscribe. I'm a teacher. I teach things. I don't just teach about travel, but I teach about cultural and history in different places that we visited, literature, art. I go into teaching pedagogy. This channel entirely is about teaching. So please like, comment, subscribe. Anything that you can do to support us is incredible. We really appreciate you. So again, who do you prefer to sail? Have you sailed? Have you never sailed? If you have never sailed, is this kind of encouraging you to pick it up and give it a try? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you on our next journey.